Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and for the last 7 days, I've been driving the 2025 Chevy Blazer EV SS. Below me are two electric motors powering this all-electric vehicle. The Blazer EV has been out for quite some time, but now it is offered in the SS trim level that bumps it up to 615 horsepower. And so today we're going to be taking an extended look at what this vehicle is, what it isn't, its upsides, and unfortunately some of its downsides. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that all-electric drivetrain. Well, the EPA estimates it at about 303 miles per charge, and honestly, in my testing, I found that to be pretty true. Now, this is the first good weather week that we've had here in Chicago since last October, so that, of course, is a factor, but it has stayed pretty true to that 303. The exciting part of that drivetrain is the 615 horsepower. This thing is a rocket ship, and they give you some extra drive modes to show you that. It really is a lot of fun, and we'll talk about that towards the end with the SS badge and how I think it really does live up to that. Driving-wise, visibility is pretty good. Ride quality's okay. It's not like what you would see at the older brother Buick or Cadillac, but it's also not bad. It's not shaking my fillings loose or anything like that. It's very EV, so it's very numb in a lot of ways, but if you want straight line speed, this definitely provides that. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. Now, this is a little bit congested, albeit they do have a calm screen that you can switch to, which is nice and definitely cuts down on the congestion, but modern Chevy and GMC gauge clusters just are a lot to me, so I'm not the biggest fan. On the steering wheel, on the left, we do have our adaptive cruise control. This does have the Super Cruise system, which is hands-free cruise control, which works really, really well here in the Blazer EV. And off to the right, we have a heated steering wheel and some selectors. We also do get a nice SS badge down at the bottom of the steering wheel. Love to see that. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent. We have our power parking brake, lane keep assist, and auto holding brake, as well as our gauge dimmer switch. And moving out of the door, we have our memory seat options, lock and unlock, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, we get this giant infotainment system. I like it a lot. It's very easy to see. It's very easy to use. All the buttons are clearly labeled. It's been fantastic, except that it doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Now, to its credit, it does have Google integrated for Google Maps. However, no Apple CarPlay is absolutely insane for a couple of reasons. First of all, I know that Chevy used to have Apple CarPlay, so they've now taken it away. And as someone that uses Apple CarPlay in every single vehicle that they have, all my saved locations, all my contacts, all my easy to swipe through music is now completely gone. This is an incredible downside for the Chevy Blazer SS. I cannot believe that they left this out and are moving away from Apple CarPlay. It's like moving away from your established camp with a water well because you see Coca-Cola on a neighboring mountaintop. Stay where the water is! That's the whole point. I digress. I like the screen. The fact that it doesn't have Apple CarPlay is atrocious. Down below, we do have dual zone climate. We do have some physical climate controls for the temperature and fan speed, which is all you really need, and I like that. We have 3 symmetrical climate vents down below. Very big. Like that a lot. Then we do have a little cubby, an openable cubby with 2 USB-Cs, and the cup holders, so we'll do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Chevy EV Blazer, and I'm happy to report that just like the standard EV Blazer, it does in fact pass. The SS doesn't change anything. Then we do get a wireless charger and a center console with a 12-volt outlet and USB-C. And then we get the reddest seats that you'll ever see. This is a very, very red interior. Some might love it, some might hate it. I personally am a big fan. I think it adds that sporty feel, and if you're buying the sporty trim level, I think it makes a lot of sense. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2025 Chevy EV Blazer SS, and a couple of things to note. Right off the bat, room is incredibly spacious. Head not hitting the ceiling, knees have plenty of space before they even think about touching the seat in front of me. We have 2 climate vents, 2 USB-Cs, and 2 heated seat options, along with 2 cup holders. Do these pass as well? No, these actually don't pass the big friggin' bottle test. Who would have thought? But plenty of space back here. This has been absolutely wonderful. And of course, the red carries on. So that red sporty theme of the front seats carries on with the back seats. Absolutely love to see that. However, let's hop in the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Chevy Blazer EV SS, you really get a sense of how wide it is from back here. But once we are back here, we do have a button down here for the tailgate. It is a power operated tailgate, and here is the rear area. I would have liked to have seen a 12-volt outlet back here. Not the end of the world that we don't have it. We do have some extra storage down here, of course the at-home charger and things like that, but plenty of storage space. And of course the second row does fold flat as well. So tons of space to love back here in the Chevy EV Blazer SS. One simple button right here for the power tailgate right back down. Absolutely love to see that. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I like the look of the Chevy EV Blazer SS. I don't think it's that special or that different. The old Chevy Trailblazer SS used to get different bumpers and whatnot, but it was always still a subtle vehicle, at least until you heard that 6-liter idling. So I kind of get that here. They're not changing it up all that much. You see that SS badge and you go, ooh, you know, that's something special. I would have liked it in a crazier color, but that's okay. I think it's a relatively attractive vehicle. I love the lighting situation on it as well, so it gets a thumbs up in that regard. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Chevy Blazer EV SS? Well, I've overall really enjoyed this experience. I think that this is a good car, but let's get the downsides out of the way, and there's only 2 big ones. First of all, as I ranted and raved earlier, no Apple CarPlay is very, very dumb to not include. I know that Chevy used to offer Apple CarPlay. They spent the last 5 to 10 years getting everyone acquainted with Apple CarPlay, and it worked really well. And then they just pulled the plug on it. It's like if I just started doing stop motion Lego videos here on the channel. Everyone comes here for the car reviews. So that was a big disappointment. The other big disappointment with this vehicle is the differentiation from other cars in Chevy's lineup. I think Chevy has a small problem right now of differentiating between their models. I gave a friend a ride in this car, and he said, I didn't know that the Blazer went all EV. And I said it didn't. They also offer the gasoline-powered Chevy Blazer. They also offer the Chevy Trailblazer, which is even smaller and a different car. So they have 3 different vehicles with the Blazer name. The small Trailblazer, the gasoline Blazer, and now the EV Blazer. And the 2 that are just called Blazer share nothing with one another. Not an interior, not an exterior, not a drivetrain. They are completely separate vehicles. To push it further, they also still make the Equinox and the Equinox EV. Again, completely separate vehicles that share a name. And the Equinox EV and the Blazer EV are somehow 2 separate cars. How? I don't know. Now, the Equinox doesn't get an SS trim level, or at least as of now, but you could see where the confusion starts to really get involved. If you want to throw the Chevy Trax in there, how is the Chevy Trax different than the Chevy Trailblazer? I don't know. I just don't want to see Chevy start to cannibalize its other vehicles or say, oh, this vehicle failed because we have one that's identical to it. Picking between a regular Chevy EV Blazer and a regular Chevy EV Equinox, it's splitting hairs. I don't really know a huge difference. But with the dislikes out of the way, I do really, really like this car for one main reason. The SS badge is a lot of horsepower for not a crazy amount of money. This makes more horsepower than the Hyundai Ioniq 5N and cost a couple $1,000s less. This costs over $10,000 less than the Dodge Charger Daytona EV. And that's what I really like. This kind of encompasses what the SS badge always was, which was kind of cheap horsepower. You throw a big engine into a little car and you had fun. This is one of the cheapest ways to get 615 horsepower. 10 years ago, 600 horsepower was unobtainable by anything under $100,000. I mean, really, truly. 20 years ago, not a chance. Now, I know $60,000 isn't a small amount of money, but for the horsepower that you get, this would run circles in the quarter mile against the Trailblazer SS. And your dad's old Chevy SS, this is faster off the line. If you really truly care about straight line speed, this is the fastest SS product out of the box. It's also the first EV SS, which I think is really cool. It's Chevy breathing life into this new segment or this new part of the SS name. The SS name is going to carry on whether it's electric or gasoline. That badge, that heritage that goes with it is going to continue on. And so that has been really cool to see and really cool to experience. This car is fast, this car is fun, and I think it does a really good job. It just needs Apple CarPlay. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Chevy for loaning me this vehicle for 7 days to try out. So close to this vehicle's launch. I was so privileged to have the opportunity to have it for a full week. Really, really appreciative of that. Huge thank you to G. Schmidt for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. And of course, the Midwestern Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.